war on drugs and stuff like that. And he said after years, he said, you got to be ridiculous. Let's legalize it, take the profit out of it. If we legalize grass alone, there's been studies. Here it goes, Father again on studies. We would 60% of the deficit would be reduced overnight. All the violence in Mexico would cease to exist. Okay,
all cartels would instantly go out of business.
They go out of business. Okay, they'd either grow it legally or see you later. You know what I mean? This is an outrageous situation that we are not using wisdom in this country for some of these problems that we could handle without too much.
You have this report here?
Oh, I got the Connecticut. Yes.
Yes.
Are you trying to make me go into the Connecticut
Yes, because
thing?
I think the people in Connecticut
Need to
deserve
know.
Connecticut Hall of Shame.
Oh, well, okay, we need to, this is another report, and it's called the Connecticut Hall of Shame. It's done by a private corrections work group, okay, which we'll have on the, which you're seeing right now on the screen, so you can get it on the internet of where you get it.
It's really important to go to this website because they have some really invaluable information.
Oh yeah, this is stuff. If you really want to know about what's going on, some of this is a little. It ranges from back into 2005 and 2004. Okay, but I wanted something that jumped out to me real clear was a preliminary survey of private prison industry showed Connecticut could get rates as low as $10 per day for putting their prisoners in there. Now, this is what this private prisons tried to sell us. And Ryan said in Connecticut it costs roughly $80 a day to house a prisoner. Now, how are you going to go? Okay, when we know that we do a fairly good job. It's going to cost us $80 a day to house a prisoner. How are we? Where in God's name are we going to send a prisoner and get a reduction like that, where it's only going to cost us 10? Well, you know how they.
Well, you see what happened to the Connecticut prisons that they sent out of state, the privatized prisons. They had a high suicide rate.
Exactly right, and the state got sued.
Yeah.
And nobody saved any money.
How did you save money there?
You got to be kidding me, because they put them into places where they're abused. And in fact, and I know our folks that follow us saw the Ridge. You know,
yes.
Okay, and we're going to have it again. We'll show it again on the thing. We run that about every 6 weeks, and it shows exactly private prison does and the abuse that happened to the young man from Connecticut and stuff like that.
You got to emphasize that you had to be of a certain age and you had to have a certain amount of time. This particular individual only had a year left to do, which didn't classify him to go there.
Right.
And he just turned 21.
He just turned when they shipped him out. Yeah.
They had no business sending that kid out of state, away from family and friends, with that short of time, and the kid ended up killing himself.
I was hoping, and I was never able to, either through my own fault, to talk to his mother and his family. I was hoping that I would be able to get in touch with them, and I was not able to. And I have not as yet, because what happened to them is just outrageous to Connecticut people, and that and up the Ridge we'll play it over the next several weeks. We'll have it back on, and if you folks watch for it, because we play it probably about every 8 weeks or something like that. I put it on. We have. We've been allowed to do it from the place that made it, and it really shows what we're talking about here. I mean, that is, I think, one of the best documented situations of private prisons.
Well, it relates clearly to Connecticut,
and it really relates to here. So that's you know. But okay, what was I? 31 states contract with private prisons, by the way. That's one of the information here. 31 states contract right now with, right? But right here, okay, we get, Roland, under Roland, Chief of Staff David O'Leary was getting paid, okay, by the Corrections Corporation, okay, and he was providing lobbyist service to the state. And guess what? Guess what he was trying to do? He was looking for longer prisons, get tougher on crime, and stuff like this. And he was getting $4,500 a month from Corrections Department, from the CCA, okay, so that they could get a foothold in here and get our prisoners contracted to them. I mean, these things are outrageous. And again, this is where I talk about bait and switch. We are being sold a load of goods,
bill of goods,
and a bill of goods, and we're getting ripped off. In 2006, okay, Farrell Capital Management is a hedge fund that invests a portion of Yale's endowment. Well, Yale found out that their money was going to one of these private prisons situation, and well, they got out of it. They protested, said they wanted the university to divest from the company because there are a disproportionate number of minorities incarcerated, and inmates were alleged inhumanely treated by, guess who? CCA prisons. And critics also accuse CCA of lobbying for harsher sentencing in order to generate more revenue. Okay, and Yale's investment was through Farrell Capital Management, which founded by Yale's alumni. Farrell is again, as I said, is a hedge fund that controlled about $10 billion in assets and owns about 5.5% of CCA. Yale alone has around $500 million invested through Farrell, according to one of the organizations. And my understanding, though, and I have to be careful of this, was that Yale divested of that because of all the problems and that was going on. So I was hoping that we did some good things down there. However, I promised to research the Yale stuff and see if they did divest.
And let's reiterate, slavery exists in the United States.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Go check the 13th Amendment and read what it says. There's an accept clause. If we're going to get rid of slavery in this country, that accept clause has to be removed from our Constitution. As a consequence of this, we have now come full circle from privatized slavery to state slavery back to privatized slavery. And it's not to the benefit of society. People are being hurt. We're putting people in jails that don't belong in jails.
Absolutely.
We got to stop this.
And you got to realize they're not protecting us. Yeah, I mean, no, they're not protecting. They're not protecting us.
And make sure you get a copy of this.
You got to get
really
this stuff.
Important.
This stuff is really. This is really. Yeah, this is really interesting.
This is mind-boggling.
It'll blow your mind. Okay, with jobs and everything else. We're going to further talk about this. I know you're going to do other shows.
We have more of this series going on. We will do at least 2 more on this subject matter.
Okay.
But you really, really have to go out and get online and download a copy of this.
And if you want to ask questions of Bobby and stuff, okay, please go to our website, which is on there, okay, and send in your questions, and we'll answer them. Okay, you can get our my email is on our website. Okay, so you can email us, and we'll get Bobby in touch with you. And
we'll get back to you. Any information you need, just ask us. We'll go find it. We will chase it down. But really, really, again, I just keep beating this into the ground. It is so important that you get a copy of this document. The information in it will blow your mind. This type of stuff has to be stopped.